Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Inspiring School Counselors podcast. I'm Matt Fleck. Whatever term you use for this wonderful time of the year, it is often called the season of giving. Giving is definitely the theme of our podcast today, as Amy Porteous interviews three lively school counselors who have created a comprehensive service learning project that has become successful in so many ways. Here's Amy.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited to be here today with my friends from Triton School Corporation. I know our listeners won't be able to see you, but you are a stunning group of school counselors inside and out. And I thank you so much for being with us today. So to begin with, can you just tell our listeners a little bit about yourself? I need you to share your name since there's three of you and they won't know which voice goes to whom unless you tell us. And then tell us what role you play at Triton.
Okay. I'm Sarah Arvison. I'm one of the school counselors at Triton Junior Senior High School. I was a resource teacher for 10 years, and then I went to a conference, fell in love with hearing about school counseling, and jumped into that role. This is my third year now.
Ashley, how about you?
I'm Ashley Faulkner. I was a teacher for 14 years, and I was a junior high social studies teacher. And then when my good friend Sarah became a school counselor, I started to kind of think along those lines and kind of jumped in feet first or head first, maybe. But this is my second year as a school counselor. I'm currently trying to finish up my grad degree in school counseling. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome. So you guys were friends before you started counseling together.
Yep. Yeah.
That's always a plus.
Sarah.
And speaking of friends, Stacy Sheets, introduce yourself.
Yay. Well, I'm the grandma of the group because I'm older, but I was a adult probation officer for 14 years. And then I was a school counselor at Plymouth for high school for 17 years. And this is my first year at Triton Elementary as an elementary counselor.
She's like this giant ball of energy that just comes into our room. And
Yes, she
on
is.
our level. We know we're going to get things done when she's with us.
That's right.
I understand that you guys are do a service learning project. Actually, you've got your corporations can become kind of famous for around here. It's called Triton Gives Back. Is that right?
Yeah. So Triton Gives Back was started as a way to just give our kids experiences and opportunities to serve and fall in love with serving. And it has been something that actually Ashley and I started as an idea, and we took it to Jeremy. And Jeremy, he's our superintendent. And if you've ever met Jeremy Riffle, he's a go big or go home guy. And he goes, well, what about the whole corporation? And we were like, yeah, sounds like a great idea. Not realizing the magnitude of the project, but we did it and it turned out awesome. It's a preschool through 12th grade day, and it includes all the staff in the entire corporation, from cafeteria to custodians to bus drivers. Everybody serves for a couple hours that day, and we all do something that impacts our community and the surrounding communities.
That's amazing. So this is your third year that you've done it? Is that right?
Is,
It's our third
yep.
year, but we actually have done 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Fall tends to work a little bit better than the springtime does. But I think one thing that is really exciting is a lot of our teachers have jumped on board to the point where they've actually inquired about us maybe trying to do 2 in a year, which we have not delved into yet, but maybe, in the future. It just is exciting to actually hear that our staff and students are that gung-ho about serving and providing that service to our community, that they're interested in that.
Yeah.
So tell me, why do you think there is such strong buy-in to this project?
I think that what we saw the first year, so the first year when we did this project, everyone was like, yeah, sounds like a good idea. And then you had the group of people who were like, one more thing to do, takes away from the classroom. But after that day, I'll never forget the first day that we did it, and we got back to the school. And buses of kids were just coming into the building, and everybody was like smiling and hugging each other
It was a very cool.
talking about how amazing it was going to this nursing home, and they met this lady, and they did this over here at the food bank, and everybody, there was just such a joy that came from it. And I'll even tell you, like, tears from staff members here that were just like, I've never seen this student act this way. I've never been able to connect with this student before, because they don't do anything in my classroom, but I took them out into the community and I saw something else.
Yeah. And as a former high school counselor, I can picture it at junior high and high school, but I'm not picturing this project at elementary school. Stacy, tell me how that worked for your younger kids.
Oh, it was great. Each grade kind of picked a project that they want to, go with. Preschool, they colored photos, and our law enforcement came here that day and they went out to give photos that they colored. Our kindergartners, they do snacks for the dogs and cats at Humane Society. So they go over to the high school, to the kitchen, and they make treats for the pets. We also bring in therapy dogs for them to play with after they make the treats. So they think that that's really great. So each grade picked something that they did for the community. Our fifth graders went to our retirement home here and they played bingo with them and let them win door prizes and socialized with the residents there. So it's fabulous. I mean, it's a lot of work. I don't understand how Sarah and Ashley have done this on their own for the last 2 years. It's a lot of work, but boy, it feels awesome, at the end to see everybody doing something for somebody else. So
absolutely. Do you guys have stories then, like where you can see the impact that this project had on a particular student or a staff member, a story that would say, like, this is why we do this. This is why it matters to us.
One that sticks out to me is we had a student this year that went to a local preschool, and she was totally not, she was just like, oh, okay, whatever, we're going to the preschool. And the point was that they go to the preschool to kind of introduce themselves to the kids. And, when little kids see the older kids, they get all excited, they get to do fun things with them. And I don't think she took into account like how much she was going to make some of those little kids' days. Yeah. But when she got back to school, I kid you not, she ran into the office and she comes in and she's like, when are we going to do this again? I need to go back and see him. This little boy was crying when I left. And there's pictures of this little boy just bawling as she was leaving.
Biggest hug.
And the biggest hug. And this student in particular is just somebody who has not had an easy road in middle school and high school, has struggled just kind of like finding her place in the building. And you could tell right there, she was like, I found my niche. I love working with kids. When can I go back there? Can we schedule another time? And just to see that excitement and the happiness that came from her was pretty cool.
And this particular school has a graduation ceremony at the end of the year. And she asked if there was any way that they could attend the graduation ceremony so that she could see this young man graduate. I mean, it was just a really cool thing to see that impact. And even at that same preschool, there's this young man, and he is one of those that's also like, you don't see much out of him in the classroom whatsoever. But he went to that preschool and was interacting with the little kids, and his SLC teacher just came in and completely sung this young man's praises about how she was so impressed with how he handled himself, and he just jumped right in, and the little kids loved him, and the smile on his face working with those kids was something that she thought she would never see. Those are the stories that you hear and the impact that you see that just really warm your heart, and it makes it worth it.
Absolutely. Have there been particular struggles you faced, and how did you persevere through those?
I think with any program, and it's every year, we'll have the same thing where you will have those few people who do not buy in. And it's almost like you want to prove to them, like, this is why you need it. This is why it's going to work for you. And we struggle with that. That is something, there's a few people who just don't love the program like we do.
I think we got a serious buy-in though this year, because we have one teacher who, and I love this person because they are all in, they're a great teacher. But when it comes to doing some of the extra stuff, like with Trojan Wars or Triton Gives Back, like sometimes they just were not 100% on board. She took her class to the Bread of Life food pantry this year, and I think she's just sold. You know, I
She
mean,
is.
they had such a great experience working with the people there, and the kids did such a great job at that particular event. And I don't think that that's going to be an issue with her anymore. I think the buy-in is there, and she sees the value of it, which is awesome.
That's the one thing that we've really tried to do is make it so that each person responsible for their group, it becomes their event, not our event. It is their event. And it's something that they become passionate about themselves. And I think, Stacy, you saw that with the 4th grade this year when they took over Riley's. Like now they are all about that, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, girls, I really appreciated talking to you about this. I told you that one way we like to end our segment is by doing rapid fire questions. So we're getting ready to do that. Are you ready for this? You're each going to answer my question very briefly. And I think I'll tell you that we're going to go in order of Sarah, Ashley, Stacy, because that way you're not stepping on each other. Okay?
Gotcha.
Okay, here we go. Rapid fire questions. Sarah, you begin. Who's your favorite superhero?
Amazon Prime. It's a superhero to a mom. I'm just saying.
Yes.
Sure.
Ashley, who's your favorite superhero?
My Lord and Savior, Jesus.
Very nice. I like that.
Oh,
Stacy
great.
Sheets.
Great. And I'm going to follow this up with Iron Man because Robert Downey Jr., and his outfit. I don't even know what he stands for, but I just love Robert Downey Jr. So
He's
great.
a winner.
Follow Ashley after that.
I'm so disappointed. I was pretty sure you were going to say Amy Porteous, but hey, whatever.
Sorry. Okay.
Sarah, what question or statement from a student annoys you the most?
When we're scheduling, can you tell me who's in that class? Who teaches that class?
Ashley, how about you?
I want to switch my class because the lunch that they have. I don't like this lunch. So
Exactly. I used to tell kids I haven't had lunch since 1985.
yeah.
Stacy, what's your statement that you hate?
Well, I don't hate anything at the elementary because I love all these children. But as a high school counselor, when it was college application time, they'd be like, Mrs. Sheets, I don't know how to fill out this application. Okay, what don't you know how to fill out? Well, I don't know. I don't even know where it is. Like, oh my gosh, you haven't even looked at the college application. The first question is name. Like, what do you mean you don't know how to do it? So those are my frustrating things. So.
Absolutely.
Why?
Sarah, what candy do you have in your office right now?
Chocolate. We have 2 jars of chocolate on our desk.
Yep.
So.
Ashley, are you in the same office or do you have different candy?
I am. I'm in the same office and I have chocolate, and I think maybe there might be some Jolly Ranchers. We're kind of known as the Jolly Ladies around here because we usually have Jolly Ranchers on our desk too.
Jolly ladies. I like that. What candy do you have on your desk?
I have Tootsie Rolls because I like them. So, I mean, for me, I get the candy that I like, the Tootsie Rolls. That's
Played lots of basketball on the desk.
Maybe you can send some Tootsie Rolls to Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, don't think I will.
There you go.
Hey,
Triton gives back to Robert
That's
Downey
right.
Jr.
I mean, that's right.
Sarah, what's the most unique job you've ever had other than being a counselor?
I worked at a landscaping company, and that's where I decided that I never wanted to do outdoor work in my life.
How about you, Ashley?
I'm a loser, and my jobs have pretty much been in the school. I did work for my aunt one summer, actually a couple summers when I was in high school, and that was okay. But I was a varsity girls basketball coach for 3 years. So I would say that is pretty interesting at times.
Interesting, quote unquote.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
How about you, Stacy Sheets?
Oh my, I worked at 3D department store. You probably don't even know about 3D department store. It was like the mini Walmart back day. And I worked in the automotive section, which was hysterical because I couldn't tell you a wiper blade from I don't even know, but that was my job. The summer before I went to college, I worked at 3D department store in the automotive section.
But I bet you did a great job.
Right. Sure. People's cars probably were dying because I was giving them the wrong thing. I don't know.
How many times did Tracy have to come out?
Just a couple times, actually. Just a couple.
This is honestly something I didn't know about you. That's a riot. I love it.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
All right, last one. If you could meet one famous person, who would it be? Sarah.
Garth Brooks.
Garth Brooks.
He is
Good
like
one.
my person.
Yeah.
Mhm. And
Okay. Ashley, how about you?
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
Yes, I am a humongous and always have been a humongous Michael Jordan fan. I kind of bleed basketball, so.
Really? Are you wearing Air Jordans right now?
I am not.
Okay.
I'm wearing a Ralphie shirt.
Yeah. Oh, good.
And just Skechers. Those are, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Stacey Sheets, who would you like to meet?
Well, God rest her soul. Queen Elizabeth is who I'd like to meet. I would love to meet Queen Elizabeth. So she would have been my person.
That's
I
awesome.
was waiting for Robert Downey Jr.
Again,
Well, I thought I'd try to be professional and my person to meet. I just was going for the superhero and the appearance for Robert Downey Jr.
I'm not gonna lie, Hugh Jackman, man.
I know.
Wolverine was my other superhero, so I had Jesus/Wolverine. Not that Wolverine is anywhere close to Jesus, but
Gotcha.
girls, you are way more fun than I deserve on a Monday morning. Well, thank you for being with us, and thanks.
All three of these wonderful school counselors have said they would be more than happy to email or chat with listeners about how they started and made Triton Gives Back the successful program that it is today. You can find their contact information and pictures of each on our podcast website at inspiresuccess.org/podcast. And if you enjoyed the rapid fire questions at the end, click on the link to the Inspiring School Counselors form on the right-hand side of our podcast website, which will allow us to possibly contact you for a future podcast chat. It's all at inspiresuccess.org/podcast. And one more quick thing, it is the season of giving. So if you have a moment to rate our podcast on your app, whatever you're using, it will be like a holiday gift to us. So thank you in advance, and have a wonderful Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, or any other title you use for this joyous time of the year. So long.